fall. Hey guys. Hold on, let me turn off my music. Okay. Oh, I didn't turn you guys around. Hi. What's up, everyone? I've been getting like the nicest messages about this challenge. I'm so glad you guys are enjoying it. Is it 3 p.m. already? It is. Oh, I didn't post in the Facebook. Is it 3 p.m.? It's 3:01. I'm gonna post in the Facebook. Hey everyone, what's going on? It's like pouring down rain here in DC. It's so gross out today. Ashley, thank you for inviting people. You're such a doll. We are doing the Master Your Message to Attract Clients Like Crazy challenge. It's day 3. If you haven't hung out with me, it's pouring here too. Yeah, it's the worst. I was gonna go to the gym and it was raining, so I was like, well, I guess I'm not going to the gym today. I have an umbrella, but when you have to walk everywhere, you just don't want to do anything. Okay. Hold on, I'm putting something on Facebook. Day 3 challenge. So, if you haven't hung out with me before, I'm Lauren from the Gutsy Move Club. I'm a marketing and business coach, and I help new service-based entrepreneurs embrace their stories and their own unique gifts to master their message and get clear on their marketing so that they can attract consistent clients. We're doing a challenge this week, and it's the Master Your Message challenge to attract clients like crazy because there's money in your message. No matter how you put it, there's money in the message, especially on the online world when you don't have a storefront necessarily and you aren't technically in person. You have to learn how to leverage your message so you can get clients. So yesterday we talked about results, and on Monday we talked about our clients and understanding their struggles. And today we're going to talk about something that it has really mixed reviews in the world, like on the marketing world, online world, but I love it and I think it's super key. And it's this idea of kind of like putting yourself in a niche or specializing in something. So I'm just gonna dive right into the content and get right to it. If you are watching the replay, you guys know the drill. Send me an email or like pop me a message if you have any questions. You guys have been asking me really good questions this week, and if you're on live, ask questions away or give hearts or whatever. So, we're gonna start right off the bat with the fact that you really need to kind of choose something that you're gonna specialize or niche in. I talk to people all the time, and a lot of them are coaches, or a lot of them are like copywriters or designers, and they're like, or even photographers who are like, I'll just work with anyone. I can help people with everything, related to business or everything related to design, or I can do any type of writing that they need me to do. And I always suggest kind of like choosing this niche or this specialization, and people are really afraid of it because they think it's going to turn people off to them or that they're going to lose money. But the truth is, like, it's so much easier to attract clients and mostly like position yourself like an expert if you are focusing in on like one topic or one area, like group of people that you're going to help, or one industry. So I'll give some more examples of this like as we go on, but I kind of want you, if like you're totally shutting down right now, like I want you to be open to this idea that like it's okay to specialize and it's okay to kind of start narrow, because it's going to make you more memorable. It's going to make your content like easier to create. To be honest with you, like when you have 4 million things that you are trying to do and you're trying to talk about, and you think it's because you're going to attract more people, like you're really just watering down your content and you're confusing people and you're less memorable. And like we live in an online world where we have information at our fingertips. So it's like if I want an expert in something, I don't have to look very far off your website to find one. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. Let me know if you have any questions, but it's a good topic and it's something that, people just struggle with. So first of all, every time I bring up like specializing or like niching yourself or like, you know, having a lead, people always bring up Marie Forleo and Danielle LaPorte. As they're like, well, how did they talk about everything? They talk about business and life and, you know, everything. And I encourage you to remember that, like, nobody comes out of the box in Marie Forleo. Like, when Marie Forleo started, she was a relationship coach. She was a dating coach. It was like How to Keep Your Man or something. That was like the name of her book. And she evolved because she had people that like loved her and trusted her. So don't come to me with like a Marie Forleo. Like, none of us are Marie Forleo. Or Danielle LaPorte. Like, she was in PR. Like, her whole thing started because she wanted to teach people how to publicize themselves like as themselves. Like, it was a PR thing. So the other thing like I want you to realize is like if you decide to lead with something, if you decide to specialize yourself in your industry, whether that's photography or writing or, you know, being an online business owner in any type of way, like if you choose to specialize, what happens is like you're not shutting yourself down from ever being able to talk about anything ever again. If you are a business coach and you're going to specialize in sales, that doesn't mean that down the line you can't talk about mindset or you can't talk about marketing. It just means that like you're gonna make a name for yourself using sales. And also, like, what happens is if you are really good at being a specialist, and you really lead with something very well and establish yourself as an expert, and then you get someone in the door and, you know, they love you and they hire you, and then they continue to love you and your tribe grows and they continue to trust you because you're putting out good content, you are going to be able to leverage that. You need to grow that trust factor first, though. And the easiest way to grow that trust factor is just to do something really, really well and make that one thing that you do really, really well. And then once you have the tribe of followers who love you, you know, do whatever you want, leverage and change and evolve. I brought up Jenna Jaff like a few days ago because she started out and she is a lawyer for entrepreneurs, but she's done such a good job evolving her brand that she's put out a branding course that she sold. She's put out like a leadership course, and it's because she led with, she didn't come out of the box and was like, I'm going to be this inspirational leader and I'm going to be a lawyer and I'm going to show people how to do great brands. She was like, I'm going to do, you know, law, and then I'll evolve as, you know, my tribe evolve. So that's something like I want you to think about is leveraging. My coach calls it like having a sign over the door, and that's the best way I can think to describe it, because if you decide like you're going to specialize in something, I specialize in messaging. I'm a business coach and I can help you with lots of sides of your business, but I specialize in messaging because it's what I like to talk about. And well, there's a lot of reasons, but I'll get into that later. I don't know where I was going with that. It's just easier to focus, and it's easier to like put out content and make yourself be known if you're only talking about one thing and you're getting really, really, really good at it, and you're getting really, really good at solving that problem. So a couple of days ago, we talked about like understanding like what your client's struggles are and understanding like what they need help with. And so if you decide that you're going to solve one of those problems really, really, really well, people are going to pass your name on to other people. Like if you decide you're going to be a copywriter and that you're going to specialize in blogs because it's great to get like extra, you know, like continued projects with a blog because you need multiple ones, like it's okay if someone's like, oh, I want you to do a sales page. Like, I could do a sales page, but just start talking about blogs, because once you do that really, really well, people are going to grow to trust you. And it's going to just make everything clearer. You're going to want to talk about everything because you think that's what you need to be doing, but generalists don't do as well as specialists. Like, they just don't. So how do you like find your specialization? How do you decide how you're going to specialize in something? There's a lot of different ways. One way is like deciding that you're only going to focus on a specific group of people. I can't remember who it is, but she's a life coach. She's a happiness coach, but she specializes in people who struggle with fibromyalgia, which is so specific and such a cool niche that she's really built for herself. And so that's one way of like, you know, you are a photographer and like you just want to focus on like a certain type of wedding, or you know, if you want to focus on like just newborns, like that's perfect. That's a niche. Like you can grow from there. Or like if you are a designer and you want to focus on like a certain type of design. Like I know designers who do like pink, girly, like fun designs really, really well. And that's their niche. Like that's what they're known for. Or like you know, if you're a coach and you're a relationship coach, and you only want to focus on divorced women, that's a great niche right there. Like it's just something really specific where you can start to like make a name for yourself. That's what you want to think. So like one way to do is with like your audience or the people you work with. And then like another way to do it is kind of like looking at all of the things that you do help people with and then picking your favorite and just being like, I'm just going to lead with this. Like I could help you 4 million ways to Sunday, but I'm going to lead with content, or I'm going to lead with sales, or I'm going to lead with being like an Instagram expert. I'm going to lead with passive income, or I'm going to lead with like, you know, teaching how to sell ebooks. Like those are very specific things that you can start getting like a name for. I mean, most importantly, you need to make sure that the people you work with are struggling with it. And so if you've done your market research, like I told you to do on day one, then you know what they're struggling with. And so you know there's a market for it. Like don't just sit in your room and come up with a niche and be like, I'm going to help, you know, I don't know, something crazy. Like, I don't know, I can't think of anything crazy. Clearly my creativity's down today. But you know what I'm talking about. Like, don't just sit in your room. Like, go out there and make sure that someone is struggling with this specific problem, and then decide that's going to be your lead. So, you know, what I also tell people, it's the rain. It's totally the rain. I think it's like got me distracted. It's also like crazy. Like my lights, I have like 4 million of them on right now because it's super dark in my room. So, all right, so yesterday, if you watched yesterday's scope, I talked about kind of laying out all the things that you help clients with and creating these like sexy, like these benefit statements of saying like you help someone with their marketing strategy so that they can, what did I say? Like attract more clients so that they can, you know, get more things done. Well, I want you to go back and look at all those statements that you wrote, like the 10 things that you help clients with. And I want you to look it over and choose maybe like your favorite one, or the thing that you're best at, or, you know, like the thing you think is like most, like the juiciest thing you can think of. And then decide like that's going to be your lead and start leading with it. Then start like leading with it in your sentences, or like leading it when your packages, like, you know, having that be the thing that you talk about consistently, building like your opt-ins around that, or building, you know, your challenges around that, or your Facebook group around that. Like have that be the number one problem that you solve for people. Like if that's going to be your lead, have that be the number one problem that you solve for people. And then, you know, you can always solve more problems if they're interested, but you have to get someone in the door in the first place. And so the best way to do that, I think, is just to be really, really clear and really, really specific and saying like, I help people do this. I can also help you with X, Y, and Z, but like, this is where I'm a baller at. And then your name is going to spread. Like if I had like, one of my best friends is getting married, and she was like, having this problem with like cookies, like trying to find someone who like did like good enough cookies. And it came down to like finding someone who had done wedding cookies before and like who did like really cutesy like sugar cookies that looked like in a specific shape that like were wedding focused. And like I had no idea that those kinds of things existed, but they do. And she went with it, and like this girl has like a following of people who are like, we love her cookies, not because they taste the best, which I'm sure they're delicious, not because, you know, they're the most gourmet or the cheapest, but because she like specializes in this one cool industry, and she's made a name for herself and like spread it out to wedding planners and things like that. And I think that's like a really interesting way to like niche yourself. So that's like one way, is kind of look at all the things you do and be like, I'm going to do this thing the best, and I can evolve from there, but I'm going to start with this. The other way to think about it is kind of think about like, if you teach something differently, or if you have like a cool spin on something, that could be another way to niche yourself. Like, allow yourself to get a little creative. And the whole idea is like, just don't be afraid that you're going to turn people off, because you do want to turn some people off, because you can't answer everyone. You can't solve everyone's problem. Like, turning some people off will be a good thing, because it means you're going to speak to certain people in a stronger way. I don't know if you guys know, like, her name is Katie. She what is her I can't remember what her company's called, but she's a personal trainer, but she's also a mindset coach. And so she combines the two, and she works with entrepreneurs, and her message is like, I will help, people who want to be fit as fuck and make bank. Like, that's what she helps. She's a mindset and transformation coach for people who want to be fit as fuck and make bank. And I think that is such a cool way to niche herself, is that she took two things she really loved, fitness and mindset, because they do intertwine, and she decided to create her own little space for herself of being somebody who can transform your your body as well as your mindset, so that you can make more money. So she has built that little niche for herself, and she, got creative and thought about it. So that's like another way to like think about, like, well, allow yourself to be creative and say, like, I do things differently because of this. Like, there's one awesome chick out there, and she like specializes in storytelling. Like, she's a storytelling marketing mentor, and she like helps people create their stories and get in touch with their stories. And like, I think that's so interesting, because we're all talking about marketing, but she's talking about storytelling marketing. Like, it's a blend of what she's really good at. Like, that's something really cool. Jordana Jeff is a Facebook groups expert. Like, she was a community builder, and then she specialized in Facebook groups. She also builds other communities. She's like building masterminds now, and like she helps people build larger communities, but she became known as like the Facebook group expert. So that's what I want you to think about, is like, either think about the people you want to serve, like a very specific group. Think about all the things that you do, and just pick your favorite, whatever that may be, or like get creative. And if you have a creative way, what if you don't have a ton of experience in your niche? That's totally fine if you don't have a ton of experience in your niche. Like, your job, if you don't have a ton of experience and you're like, this is the niche I'm going to be, having trouble finding a lot to talk about. Totally get that. So if you're having trouble finding a lot to talk about, because if you don't feel like you're experienced enough, first of all, that's a mindset thing. So actually, like, start switching up your mindset and start believing that you are an expert in this, because you're choosing to niche yourself in it. And then if you're struggling with things to talk about, you and I can talk about this later, but what I would tell you to do is, one, if you're not already, like, start talking to your clients and finding out like what they're struggling with, like how you can get creative around it. And also, like, it's okay if you're talking about the same thing multiple times. Honestly, like, the best, like, the most successful people will tell you, like, I was just listening to like Kat Laterzo. She's an author, and she's like a baller entrepreneur, and most of us are talking about the same thing constantly, like day in and day out. You don't have to be like completely wowing people. It's okay if you're talking about the same thing, because you're going to learn new ways to talk about it. And the more like you keep going and like start challenging yourself to be like curious and say like, what else, how else can I say this? Like, how else, like, what else am I learning? Like, you're going to evolve with that, and then your experience is going to evolve. So I wouldn't let like that stress you out if you're like, I feel like I'm just talking about the same thing over and over. Like, most of us are, like, we just are. And like, you don't realize it, because we get really good at talking about this stuff. And also, like, our brands are growing, and like our audience is growing. So like, yeah, you could hear something from me 5,000 times, and then someone else is just coming along, she's like, I've never heard this. I've never heard it explained like this. So yes, it's okay to like kind of talk about the same thing. Does that help you? Does that answer your question? Like I said, we can talk more about this off. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So like, get your mindset. It's okay. Like, you do have experience in this. You have a ton of experience in this. Like, and you're going to be a baller at it. Like, the best people I know who like choose a specialization are like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to stick with it. And I'm going to get really, really good at it. And I'm just going to keep getting better at it. And they're not so distracted being like, this didn't work for 5 days. I'm going to do this now. And then I'm going to do this. And like, I can do everything. It's like, that's so all over the place. Like, keep talking about one thing and it's okay. Like, it really, really is. And you're just finding new ways to talk about it and getting creative with it and testing your boundaries a little bit. So, that's what I like encourage you to do. And it does take like it just takes some brainstorming, and it also takes like take a little bit of the pressure off and be like, you know what, like if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna love it and I'm gonna have a ton of fun with it, and I'm not gonna let it stress me out. That like that's like actually a really cool thing to be like, I need to find more ways to talk about this, or I need, you know, to find interesting ways to build content around it, because then you can just get a little crazy and be like, ooh, this could be, you know, what if I did this, or what if I did this, and you're just gonna keep trying and tweaking and trying and tweaking. But I just really encourage you guys to like focus. Like, do not have shiny object syndrome. Don't solve 17 million problems. Get crystal clear on like what you're gonna lead with, and then have that be your lead, and make it known that you're an expert. It's going to just skyrocket you a lot faster, and it's also going to save like the distractions. Because if you're like, I avoid talking about what I do and fill it in with a bunch of other things. What do you mean by that? You avoid talking about what you do and you fill it in with a bunch of other things? Like talking about brand photography and like product photography? And where are you talking about this? Like Facebook groups or because, you know, one more thing when we're talking about like, well, we can talk about that more later, but yeah, what do you mean when you talk, like when you say like you avoid talking about like where? With people, or let me know, Ash. Like, I'll post inspirational quotes or links to other people's stuff. Oh, okay, like on your social media and things like that. Sorry, slow typer. It's okay. It takes me forever to type the titles for this. Okay, social media. Cool. Alright, so basically what I tell you is you're going to want to at least one day a week be talking about brand photography and maybe like why brand photography is important. Like, the other thing is, like, we talked about this yesterday, like, what are the results of like brand photography? Like, what does someone with a good brand photography or a good product, like, what does that bring them? Like, how can you talk about that in different ways? Like, what are the struggles that they're having? Like, there are so many struggles of like getting someone to have like a pretty picture online. So you can still post like inspirational things, but what I would encourage you to do is like kind of think about actually like how you work with your clients. Oh, did you just hop off and hop back on? Did you miss that? So actually, like, if you are posting like a bunch of different things, oh, it's okay. Periscope's really weird with like that. There's a couple of different things that I would encourage you to do is like kind of look at your process, Ashley. Like, when you start working with somebody, what are the types of things that you have to talk to them about? What do you show them? What, like, is there a process of like when someone reaches out to you all the way to the point when like they have these beautiful photos? Like, what does that entail? Like, are there some topics in there that you can talk about? Or like, what are people doing wrong in like product photography? Like, what are some lessons that you can teach people? Like, maybe there are people out there who are DIYing themselves, and you can be like an expert in kind of showing them how to, like, you're not going to take away business away from yourself, because if they're already DIYing, like, they're not going to, you know, hire you right now. But if you show them like, hey, this is how I like take cool photos, or, you know, like, this is what you need to know if you're going to photograph like a product, like kind of giving them value in that way. Don't think of it as like, oh, I'm taking away like from what I do, or, you know, but you're giving value and you're showing like why you know your stuff, and also like why it's important that someone has like good photography. Like if I don't have the budget for a brand photographer right now, but like you could be able to like show me a video of how you like set up your products, I'd be like, that's so cool, that's so interesting, I'm gonna want to follow her. So think about the, you know, things like that. Like you have a lot to teach, and you have a lot that doesn't have to come directly from like buy my stuff, or you know, like this is why you need photography. So yeah, that's what I encourage you to do. I am finally seeing you live. Hey, is that Donna? My VA friend? Oh, yay! So we are talking about kind of like specializing a little bit and kind of choosing one thing that you need to lead with. So I know with you, like we've talked about how you help people with their tech stuff, like specifically WordPress, I think, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. And about how you like assist entrepreneurs and that type of stuff. So what I am trying to talk about here is choosing to have like a lead, choosing to not saying, oh, I'll be your VA and I'll help with X, Y, X, Y, you know, social media and bookkeeping and this and this and this. That's really good, but choosing kind of one thing and saying, like, I'm going to focus on helping you manage your website and being that the thing that you really make your name for. And then when you've attracted people, you can wow them with a bunch of different things that you do, but really getting clear on like the one thing that you're going to be known for. I want to be known for messaging. So a lot of what I talk about is messaging. You know, some people want to be known for mindset. Some people, you know, one of my friends is a photography coach, and she focuses in on pricing. So like she helps photographers figure out the pricing. She does a million other things really well. Or like one of my friends is a French teacher. She's a French coach, but she helps business people learn how to speak French for business, which is like such a cool niche. Like she's really like built that. Like I wouldn't hire her because I don't need that, but like there's a lot of people who would. So those are the kind of things I want you to think about when you think about niching yourself. Either think about your clients, like the group that you're helping, think about the special way that you do something, if you have a cool like method, or think about all the things you've helped people with and just pick one and have that be your lead and use that as like the sign over the door, and then get people in through that, but use it as the sign over the door. So if you guys don't have any other questions, I'm going to let you all go. If you want to hop in the Facebook group or send me a message or something, let me know like what your lead is. And then what we're going to do tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to use your message and create consistent content. So actually this will be a good one for you tomorrow if you can make it live. I'm going to talk about how I create content that like constantly relates to my brand, but I'm still like, I post content 7 days a week. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. So hopefully you guys can come hang out. You guys are rock stars. I love you. If you've not hung out in the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/The Gutsy Move Club. Yay. I'm so glad you made it live, Donna. And I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to go, I don't know, do something fun. Take a little breather. Mwah! You guys are the best.